Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name's Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hell. In the last video, we let Zimbabwe free from this nightmare. Although I don't know if the nightmare that they're in right now is much better. I mean, ultranationalism doesn't sound the best right about now, but then again, neither does, this fucking horseshit we're stuck in. Anyway, so we got some questions on what to do next. I think we'll go ahead and do... Let's do camp camp equalization. The Reichstag's purpose of Aryanizing Africa to be realized, it's necessary that each member of the SS understand that he is not to engage in materialistic decadence. This must be upheld on the Konzentrationslager more than anywhere else. There must be no degeneracy permitted. All SS personnel must refuse luxuries if there is to be any moral consistency in ascertaining Aryans due to degenerate behavior. It must be clear, all Aryans are equal and should not be treated equally. Degeneracy is allowed for none of us, except for the alcoholic running it all. Men of the SS Konzentrationslager Truppe must live a life no more luxurious than that of the internees. Oh yeah, that's gonna go over swimmingly. The Boers complied. Okay. Okay, indeed. So, what is new? Well, weekend's over. Or just about over. It is Sunday. There goes the Indonesian War. I don't think I really care too much about that. But, the rebel situation in the Ubangi Shari region has escalated. While there have been no more fatalities from rebel attacks, there have been several German soldiers wounded. In addition, 3 local informants were found murdered on the outskirts of Bierstadt near the shores of the Congo Sea. The informants notified garrison authorities that there were rebel militias active in the area, and their influence and capacities were only growing stronger. It's recommended that Clinton and Vavaltov of central government authorize more funding, resources, and manpower to combat this rebel threat. Okay, stamp them out. So I'll go ahead and pull up what I found. So there have been a few releases or dev diaries about Toolbox Theory, because they're still working on that, and it looks like it's actually coming along pretty well, all things considered. And I'm hopeful it might actually come out one day. And one of the interesting things about the new dev diary was not necessarily about what was in it, although that was pretty interesting too. It was about who ended up publishing it. Pacifica's back, boys. Ooh. Our efforts against the local rebel force in the Ubani Shari region have borne fruit. Last night, a contingent of troops from the Butlerstadt garrison conducted a raid on a suspected rebel group near the town of Damara. The rebels never saw us coming, and the area was secured with hardly any shots fired. Hundreds of rebels, mostly of Zande origin, were arrested by our forces. Our intention is to have them transferred to the nearest labor camp indefinitely. Meanwhile, their leaders, a few foolish mercenaries and Central African SS officers, have been taken to custody separately. Our intention is to have these upstart dogs liquidated. A little, that's probably the better for us. But yeah, Pacifica's back. Which I was, somewhat surprised about, just because, I think we all know she kind of, she's kind of a center of a lot of the, issues. Some related to, some weird practices the dev team was doing, and others just that should not have been released at all. Personal details, doxing, all that weird, awkward shit. So I was curious if any I was kind of, I wasn't curious. I was just kind of the opinion or the thought process that she's probably gone, but no, she is back. And not only that, I was on the ooh, damn it, Space Comey didn't win. That's kind of lame. But what are you gonna do? Okay. I'll read these two and I'll get back to what I was talking about. Efforts to curb the violent tendencies of the native population have failed. Unid's call to arms has deeply affected the mood of the Angolans, and violent encounters between Germans and natives are becoming all the more common, even within areas previously thought safe, up to including the city of Luanda itself, where the garrison is currently performing cleansing operation of slums. Natives have somehow acquired stashes of ex-Portuguese weapons, which, while of low quality, are of sufficient quantity to tie troops across the colony. I am becoming increasingly worried of the capability of the garrison to deal with the natives' sudden revolutionary tendency, and wish to formally request support from the Congo garrison, that we might regain the initiative against this unusually well-coordinated series of attacks. If immediate assistance is not provided, I fear the ability of the garrison to control the entirety of the colony. The outer regions may have to be sacrificed to native control in order to maintain control of Ghost. Please advised. Send in reinforcements. Meanwhile, the general state of order in Kenya has declined rapidly. Tensions have been heightening for too long. Our measures cap down on Oginda Odinga's Luo Thrift and Trading Corporation appear to be the last straw for local rebels. Our intelligence on the locations of the corporation's nexus was wrong, but our attempted raid and the successful capture of some well-known members of the Luo brigades were enough to trigger a strong response from native resistance. A separatist private radio station with the Untermenschen has made a disturbing edit announcing the formation of the Popular Government for Sovereignty, a pretense to sovereign state led by Kur Ojinga Odinga and a compatriot and known separatist, Akyung Oneko. The Luo brigades have apparently greatly bolstered in numbers under our noses, and an upswell of ethnic nationalism has taken sway over the Luo people under the leadership of their care. Open distance becoming more and more common by the day, and popular resistance to alien domination is at an all-time high in the territory. Regrettably, it seems the days of the absolute Reichstag control in the corner of Kenya is at least temporary. Well, they will be punished in time. Maybe. Possibly. Everything is worsening around us. This is slightly concerning. Probably have to do a one of those focuses coming up next. So anyway, Pacifica came back, and she was doing a dev Q&A because one of the main nations she worked on before she became lead dev was Comey, which I don't know if I told you guys before, but Comey's probably one of my favorite nations. And there was some mention about some new changes. They're getting rid of collagen, which I'm very sad about, but it honestly makes logical sense because there's a very authoritarian, maybe not authoritarian, but a well-known like managerial socialist communist figure, and so making him a liberal Democrat is a bit of a stretch. They're just talking about stuff like that, and I'll read this one last. Now I'll finish the story first. And so I asked a few questions, and one of them, it's just kind of a one-off question that I didn't quite expect would get a normal answer. It was just, I'll pull up the Discord message right here. It's like this simple little one. Hey Pacifica, is there anything else that's supposed to be cool, but my dumbass did typed K instead. Is there anything else cool coming to Comey that you haven't gotten the chance to bring up yet? Simple question. Innocuous. Probably doesn't mean that. Probably could lead to any result of thing. So she directly responded to my message with this. So I thought that this was very, very cool. It is not coming in Toolbox series. She posted a caveat of that. But here we are, the National Assembly of a Republic. This is very, very cool. And it makes me more hyped to play Comey whenever that update comes out. And Just gonna throw this out there. If you're watching this Pacifica and you want someone to preview the new Comey content whenever it's ready to come out, hit me up. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Alright. So, let's move on to less fun stuff now. Dry, tasteless, coated in a crusted layer of dust, and lacking any form of pleasantry or greatness. The Reichskommissar understood that this was to be the way of life of all true Aryan sons of the fatherland here in the Reichsstadt, yet he knew that not all were pleased. Not all who served under him understood the necessity for strengthening their souls in these withering times. And yet the stench of poison would not wrench this true son of Germany from his cleanse yet. What is this? What the hell is this? Huda gasped. The mess hall fell to silence. Two officers looked onward at the pastry that's specially baked, now within the Reichskommissar's fierce grasp. Silence? Fucking silence? I'd assume you're looking to sneak into my meals then for poison, isn't it? Trying to kill me? Nein, sir. It is a Berliner, sir. That is all it is. A dish from home. The Reichskommissar asked with a smile as two officers nodded silently. Hudig's smile faded away, however. He threw a pastry to the ground and proceeded to crush the pastry under his boot in a series of crushing thrusts with his boot. Okay, so they said boot 2 times. That's a little bit repetitive, but what are you going to do? Take them up to the weapon post immediately, Hudig stated as the two officers were dragged away, screaming. No true sons of Germany will fancy themselves anything more than a various feast, from here until the end of days, Hudig screamed. I can't scream right now, by the way, because there are people actively awake and moving around. So I apologize, I'm not going to be able to do MV Germany or rape. As he stormed off from the mess hall step, such hedonism remains salacious and foul. Well, we're at the point. Let's see, it's really worsening in Rwanda, Uganda, I'm going to be a little worried about. Namibia, a little sketchy in Botswana. And Angola, even. A lot of these are just not going to be good. Which actually, if this could lead to a series of events where we won't be able to get to Namibia. But I wonder if that's what this is. No, wait, that's part of Angola, methinks. So, yeah, this might be a little too late, but we're going to start with finding their leaders. Our soldiers are getting discouraged at the prospect of pacifying the territory under our control, given the quantity of rebel groups to track. But they have one thing in common, namely, if you cut the head off a group, they become an untrained rabble. Finding and neutralizing the leaders of rebel groups must become our top priority if we want to stabilize Africa. The efficiency and ruthlessness of our SS divisions will bring down their degenerate natives and their fanciful plans. There we go. So yeah, toolbox theory coming sooner, whatever. It'll come out when it comes out. At this point, I've accepted it. It's gonna be kind of like Kanye and his record releases. I waited a good long while for Donda to drop, and it's just a process. And granted, well, you could argue that what they're doing with Toolbox 3 is a lot more complicated than, I guess, a bunch of music, but same sort of idea. You know, you don't want to rush art, all that good shit. It'll come when it comes. If it ever comes at all, I guess. Okay. The ongoing fight against bandits, warlords, and guerrillas in the Uganda region has entered a new phase, according to our garrison. Over the past 3 weeks, no fewer than 4 attacks on German soldiers stationed in the city of Kampala have been perpetrated, resulting in 3 deaths and 11 injuries. 2 of these injuries were so dire as to necessitate evacuation to Quelimane for emergency treatment. Sources within the population of Kampala have indicated the new urban guerrilla group, the Uganda Army of Popular Liberation, is most likely responsible for these attacks. Popular individual attackers, while relatively few numbers, have proved difficult to identify. After every attack, they flee into the shanty towns and alleyways of Kampala with the suspected local support of local communities. We recommend that the central government authorize immediate retaliation. Or can we afford to do anything? That's my question. Well, we're gonna have to try to do something. Okay, that actually seemed to work. We'll see. Okay, same idea with Uganda, Rwanda. So we can keep these troops here. But that's one. Ooh. I don't know if we're gonna have much political power to do anything. Honestly, I think we'll wait and see. Okay, it's gonna improve. That's good. So we can focus on this area. My team was sent to scout out one of the several trails above the North Congo Lake. Merely are not fully documented the area, so it was unknown what would lie at the end. Resistance was unexpected, but nonetheless we brought sufficient weapons and munitions with us in the event that we were to encounter any hostile natives in the area. If that had happened, it would have been simpler to neutralize them. Unfortunately, we were set upon not by disgruntled natives, but by the remnants of Mueller's mongrel SS. They were well armed, well trained, and assisted by Belgian traders. We had little time to respond when they launched their surprise attack, and a significant portion of my team was killed before we were able to begin returning fire. Excuse me. After it had become clear that there was no chance we would achieve victory, I gave the order for the brigade to retreat. Total 11 out of the 24 men that were assigned to the unit were killed in action, and 2 more were wounded by enemy fire. I would recommend setting out several brigades, as they have the numbers and arms to beat any single unit with their hands behind their backs. Heavy equipment will not be recommended, as the roads are too poorly made and thin to carry such things. Unsatisfactory performance. But we're actually... I should have muted my Snapchat. In fact, real quick, I'm going to mute my Discord as well, because I don't want any notifications to upset you guys. So, we got that done. We're able to prevent anything bad right now. The question is, how long will we be able to keep it up? Let's clean up the OFN. The more we involve ourselves in the South, the more we see just how incompetent the Boer administration was. OFN holdouts have been stranded and left behind from the last war, act as trainers for the many native resistance groups, the most notable being, of course, the ANC. This cannot stand. We need to do what the Boers could not, purge the countryside and root out the ANC. Their continued presence is an insult. It is well past time someone deals with these pests. Well, we've secured it. Very well. Ho Chi Minh is dead. Communications with Kigali have been lost today. We have no idea what exactly happened there, however. The reports over the last few hours have been extremely worrying. Colony of Avalta, Franz reports of Ugandan militias are destroying the radio towers and all means of communication. This comes as a surprise to us. Kigali was where we were defended. Actually, we might have read this one already. I think it's, a default. Sort of a flavor text one, I guess. Unattached alongside this missive conclusive proof of our long-standing suspicions about the Snake Wolf King Shank's misdeeds. Locked away in far corners of Windhoek, we've discovered reports of both communication with and even illicit material support given to rebel organizations like UNITA and the MPLA. Many of the documents bear Shank's own signature, and included in the documents will be found first-hand reports of Shank's abettors, securities and underlings that assisted in Shank's crimes, and who were willing to cooperate with our investigation in exchange for lighter punishments. Accordingly, it's recommended that they will be shot rather than interned. These discoveries both close a case on Schenk and explain a barely emboldened nation of resistance elements in South Africa. Thus, always to traitors. So that's going to improve the situation in Namibia. Allegedly. I don't know how much I believe that, but the economy of Uganda is largely based around the production of the agricultural goods for export, both within the Reichsstadt and to at least to an extent abroad. One of the critical junctures of this economy is trade across the Victoria Sea, a vast tropical lake whose shores touch many regions of Reichsstadt, along with Italian East Africa. Now that juncture is being threatened. The warlords which have threatened Uganda's traditional kingdoms and chiefdoms have turned their gaze to Uganda's ports. Ports have come of ongoing battles between various factions in coastal towns like Jinja, Entebbe, and Numualand. This fighting has disrupted local commerce and claimed dozens of lives so far. Our garrison primarily concentrate in Kampala. It's unlikely these crashes will end anytime soon. Must send the coffee flow, though. Oh, that's degeneracy. Come on, game, keep up. Russo finished ceasefire. State enterprise. Okay, they're going with, what's his name? Bunyachenko. Nice. That's pretty cool. It's always good to see a student of the TNO, of the Dogboat show family, make an appearance. We did do the series on Bunyachenko a while ago, so that's nice. I'm pleased to inform the Stadler SS of capture of known Frigala leader Eduardo Mondlane, who is being held in detention at the KL 594. We expect he will bring in much required information about the operation of Liga in Mozambique. We have kept his location a secret and expect the organization to fracture after lost its leader. We'll update the Reichsführer on any further developments. Hi, Lutig. Investigation of Sam Nujoma's victory parade throughout Windhoek during Swaba's brief occupation of the city have concluded. Though there are always efficient means of intelligence gathering, the SS has incarcerated and interrogated hundreds upon hundreds of participants in these rallies, each of whom has either confessed to their crimes, personally been found guilty by either photographic evidence or eyewitness accounts. Combined with the numerous casualties Swavo undertook and their arrival and subsequent eviction from Windhoek, it's likely that the permanent detention of these supporters and abettors will uproot both the Swavo organization itself and any support it might have won amongst the easily swayed minds of these savages. The concentration camps nearest to Windhoek have all been alerted to the impending new residents about to arrive in their new communities. Is order ensured in Namibia? Allegedly. It is slightly... Oh! We're at stage 2 of our plan to put Africa under our total control. While we still struggle against local uprisings, we begin to consolidate and better control our territory. If I may ask, Stadtholder, you're saying that you wish to station troops in our bases? Herzog's voice not at once face Huttig as he reiterated statements. Yes. While the war may officially be over, there's still some issues left I must deal with. I thought this was a joint effort. Herzog was getting on his nerves. Now he wanted a joint effort? Frustrated, he suddenly continued. I'm talking about the guerrillas. As you know, while we have forced withdrawal of the Americans, there are still significant amounts of soldiers who work as mercenaries for natives. I am aware of this issue, and I'm also aware that you not wish to spend your resources dealing with them. As such, I'll need you to prepare your bases. We'll take care of the issue, as clear do not wish to do so. Huttig then hung up the phone. Finding Joe. Well, let's go ahead. Let's do the Africans disaster. What a goddamn mess. No, worse. Africa's a total shit show, plain and simple. Hundreds of resistance movements all throughout the continent are threatening to tear apart our dream of nearing dominated Africa. Mueller and Schenk were too soft with the Africans, treating them, bargaining with them, even incorporating them into the SS. A disgrace. Still, shifting blame does nothing to change our situation. We need to act, and soon, before we lose the entire continent. Airstrikes, commando raids, chemical warfare, nothing is left off the table. We will do anything and everything to ensure the survival of our state and people, at any cost. Well, there we go. And I'm thinking... Well, I was about to say, I kind of want to let some of these just worsen off and have to deal with a couple of these at a time. Make some more tough decisions. Until then. Gentlemen, now that we're all here, let's begin the meeting. Eric announced as Siegfried Hansen, the liaison from Quillamene, exited the bathroom and took a seat. I'm hearing that you having trouble putting down subhuman savages. Would any of you explain to HoI, or should I just send a lot of you to camps right now? That bastard Schenk was too soft on the savages, piped up one of the assembled garrison commanders. It's no surprise that the infantry have acted more fiercely against proper Aryan rule. Well then, let's redouble our efforts. My troops, I shall crackdowns. Unfortunately, we are running low on manpower, and Quillamene still hasn't responded to our last request from our troops. The meeting continued likewise, with Eric and the assembled commanders shouting various curses at rebellious natives, traitor Schenk and the cowards in Germania. The atmosphere was so heated that almost no one took notice of Siegfried's departure from the room to take a call from the capital. What everyone did notice, however, was the explosion emanating from a suitcase Siegfried left under the table. Explosive conclusion. I wonder how productive that actually is, but, you know, I'm not going to go into question. It's a good thing I went ahead and, ooh, there goes, Ukraine. Good thing I set my notification to do not disturb because it got pinged on Discord. I saved you guys the mild annoyance. Today, the leader of the Gaza Land Liberation Front, Eduardo Mondale, has been subjected to trial in the Quillamene corrective camps. After swift interrogation, he was found guilty of charges against the Reichsstaat, terrorist activity, high treason against the German Reich, and anti-Nazi thought. Sentenced to death by hanging and will be carried out in the following days. However, I may point out, it would have been much safer to simply execute Mondlane right after his sentence was delivered, since keeping him alive might push his comrades to action. Nevertheless, the Quillamene corrective camp is top-notch in terms of security, so worst-case scenario is unlikely to happen. Heil Hutig. One less terrorist to worry about. Allegedly. We still might have something come up. Yet to be determined. It's just fucking Uganda rising up again. What else is new? And, you know, if you want to go, fucking go. How about that, huh? Oh, Jesus. Oh! Regret to inform the Shadow SS that contact with KL-594 was lost at 5:05 a.m. yesterday morning. Subsequently, I dispatched a patrol from the SS Division Lion to investigate the cause of communication outrage. With Strambon-Fiora, Luzman's report, attached below, details the state in which KL-594 was found. Verliga's admission of responsibility for the attack suggests the purpose of his destruction was to free Mondlane, who was not amongst the dead. Vortal liquidation of villages E56 and E1002 in retribution for the attack, as per the guidelines stipulated in Circular F9. Furthermore, a search mission to find Mondale is underway, but difficulties are being encountered due to increased Verliga activities. With ringing ears, Eric shoved the collapsed table off his legs and staggered to his feet. All around him were garrison commanders doing the same. The next thing he was aware of was the blaring of Luanda's emergency sirens, following the muffled shouting of the colonial vamped guards as they rushed into the room, nearly stumbling over the wooden rubble that littered the floor. Right, sir, are you wounded? My body's bruised and my pants are scorched, but the bastard's mission failed. I'm still standing. Change of pants. We'll have to wait, sir. You need to launch an attack on the city. Those dogs? Why haven't they been slaughtered yet? There's too many of them. Our forces are being overrun all over Luanda. We'll have to evacuate you and the surviving garrison commanders to a nearby town. Retreat? Before these animals? Nurture sees this man's gun and shoot him dead before even suggesting such welled up inside Eric's mind, but the sound of gunfire and explosions outside him convinced that perhaps it was time to practice the better part of valor. You win this round, Untermensch. Well, assuming there's going to be something in Uganda popping up sooner rather than later. And if not, then shit. I think we'll go ahead and end it here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, hit the sub button for uploads every weekday as well as occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get. I appreciate any all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat, play games, and sort, check out my Discord. If you want to see me bucks more, if you want to Patreon, if you want to see me do Switch Live, I have a Twitch, all which down in the description box below. That's it for now, folks. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been Doggo333, and I'll see you next time. Bye.